Hey everyone, it's Krystallee here. So hashtag live if you're watching live, hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. So here is the truth behind your sex drive. And maybe you've done the reading. You've read Osho, Sex Matters, and you know that it makes sense. Sex is a very healing thing for the body. It's a very necessary part of our human interactions, of our human physiology. Maybe you've even gone to the extent of taking some pills, so you have a higher sex drive. Maybe you have tried to watch some things to get in the mood, but you can't seem to. And you always find yourself not in the mood or not interested, and your spouse feels like they can't please you, or they'll wait till you're in the mood to hopefully have that time with you, but you're too tired, you're exhausted, and you have a lot going on mentally in your mind. And this actually does cause a wedge in the relationship. Maybe one person has a higher sex drive than the other individual, and then causes pressure on the relationship that you need to have X amount of sex to be satisfied and whatnot. But we have a very skewed relationship with sex in the first place. And in fact, sex isn't only just the act of doing, it's the act of feeling. It's the act of connecting, the act of expressing. And a lot of times, people find themselves, before they even enter the bedroom or before they even get into the sheets, that they're already thinking some way, they're already feeling some way, and it detaches them from being in the moment with the person. They're physically there, but mentally, not so much. So the truth behind a low sex drive for some, aside from perhaps what's happening maybe on a physiological level with you, really starts in our mental state, in what we're thinking about, how we feel about ourselves, the way we feel confident within our body, and the way we feel comfortable expressing that true vulnerable part of ourselves with someone else. And so that is a very intimate moment between two bodies, two souls, two people connecting. And the fact that you don't have a high sex drive doesn't allow for those moments to come, doesn't create those moments between you two, and it becomes the elephant in the room in your relationship. It becomes a burden to actually participate and create that moment. It starts becoming less and less where you won't have many opportunities or many experiences. And then resentment builds, grudges build, grievances build, because needs aren't being met. And so what I always recommend people to evaluate and be aware of is be aware of some of the concerns or even the insecurities that you have around sex. A lot of it has to do with the way we feel about ourselves, the body that we have, insecurities that we feel about the body, perhaps some trauma that you're carrying from a long time ago, from maybe your teenage years, or maybe even your childhood, of what you saw around sex, or how your parents even expressed that to you. Or maybe there's some serious deep-seated trauma of some assault that occurred, or rape. And that prevents us from having that higher sex drive, because the mind is there to keep us safe. And if there was some instance in ourselves of being vulnerable or in that state with our partner that we can't seem to break through, we can't seem to get past, then it will prevent us from wanting to prioritize it. It will prevent us from being able to fully connect our mind, body, and spirit into having a phenomenal experience with sex. And it's such a unfortunate thing that we're not taught how sex is actually incredibly healing for the body. Not only does it allow us to express vulnerable parts of us, but it is truly healing, full of very good healing chemicals that the body needs to release as well as create. And breathing through sex and feeling through it and connecting with our partner gives us this incredible human experience that no other experience could give that to us except for that moment. But when we are carrying our own difficulties into the bedroom without realizing in the background, when they're caressing me, I'm thinking, oh, I don't like that. Or I hope they don't see that scar on my body. Or I hope, I can freely have an orgasm or allow myself to be. And we have this dialogue within our mind. So we're not actually present. We're not actually in the moment. We're somewhere else. And that's why it's super important to really, because we never did before we got into these committed relationships with people. We never did get through our trauma. We never worked through ourselves and discovered ourselves, or even took a moment to understand ourselves on a deeper level so we can have better connections, better relations, and better intimate moments with our partner, so we can have a phenomenal sexual experience, so we can be with our partner and tell our partner what we like, what we don't like, feel comfortable sharing and expressing ourselves, and being able to just be in the moment and enjoy it. And it's certainly not the way it's portrayed in pornos and such. I mean, sure, there are ways and different ways of sex that you do enjoy, but what a lot of those pornos tend to miss is the connectivity. They're not really connected with each other. I think that's why I'm so intrigued with tantric sex, is that there's not just the actual act of sex, but there's a building momentum towards it. And that doesn't only start in when you want to initiate the moment. That starts at the minute of every single day when you both wake up and open your eyes to the world. That's when sex starts. I heard that from a really great podcast I was listening to, because it's true. The way we cultivate the day, the way we focus on where we put our mental energy through the day, the way we talk about and manage our own personal stress without it spilling onto our partner. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. This is a very important conversation. The way we manage ourselves through the day allows us to decide how we allocate our energy, and know it's a priority to allocate our energy to our partner as well, to meet their needs, to meet our needs. And these are needs, yes, we can meet by masturbating, but it's different too. It's not the same. It's not the same as having a partner. I mean, with someone else, you have a whole different experience with the person. So if you are holding on to some traumatic experiences that are preventing you from connecting with your partner, or if you are unable to manage your stress, and that's becoming an excuse and a reason that you have that mental baggage that doesn't allow you to connect with your partner at the end of the day when it's time, if that's your time, it shouldn't have to be on a calendar at a specific time. But we don't have a very great understanding of how to manage ourselves to create the time, to make it a priority, to make that spontaneous moment happen by starting our day on the right foot, no matter what comes our way. It's becoming emotionally resilient, mentally strong, being able to rebound quickly, and being able to have priorities. So if this is something that you would love to have some support in and get help with through those mental blocks that are preventing you from having a higher sex drive, and you don't want to take medication, you don't want to go to years of therapy, and you want immediate help right now to start shifting your patterns of thinking, the way you've been being that has prevented you from having a higher sex drive, then get in touch with me. I would love to offer you a consultation, a free consultation to talk about this, to get to know your specific situation better and understand your thoughts, understand your feelings, and understand why they are impacting your sex drive. Yeah, exactly, Shelley. There is no love in porn. It is just the act of. And that's what I mean, is that we are looking for that connection. We are looking for that love, but we need to connect with ourselves. We need to feel comfortable sharing ourselves, feel good in this flesh, in this skin, both mind, body, and spirit. And that helps us connect with that person, accept them too for how they're designed, and also create that deeper connection, intimacy from the moment we wake up with one another. Lots to unpack here. I'd love to talk more about this. So I am hosting a masterclass this coming Sunday, and I'll start posting more information on that to help people unpack what they're actually hidden, what's hidden behind the curtains that they may not be aware of right now, but they know it's there and it's preventing them from having a higher sex drive or even having the drive enough to prioritize sex in their relationship. Join me. Anyway, I hope you're able to get some value out of that today. And Nick, I totally agree with you. I see you wrote quite a bit there, and I do want to acknowledge that about teaching our children. Definitely. I'm loving what you're saying. Yeah, inner safety. Inner safety is very important. The emotional awareness is important. I love that. And because we've gone through so much trauma in our lives, big traumas, little traumas, maybe even cultivated this notion around sex in a very unhealthy way from what is being taught in society, and making it a taboo topic, really cultivating a different understanding and knowing that we need to feel a way about ourselves so we can have that deeper relationship with somebody in that kind of way, brings a more sacred bond between the people, a more sacred attachment or even experience between the individuals. And it's definitely something that brings people closer together and strengthens a very strong relationship. Hope we're able to get some value out of that today. I'll see you very soon.